They thought I was just a rancher, just boots, dirt, and cattle. What they didn't know was that I'm a federal judge, and when they tore down my family's historic bridge, they didn't just break wood, they broke the law. What followed wasn't just justice, it was war. I was rolling back from a brutal court session when I saw the wreckage in the distance. My truck slowed tires, grinding gravel as I gazed, gut-punched. The old wooden bridge 3 generations on my family's Willow Creek ranch was destroyed. Splintered planks littered the riverbanks, some sinking, others floating. I jumped out, boots slipping in the dirt. That bridge wasn't planks, it was legacy. Built by my grandpa, repaired by my dad, fixed by me. Additionally, it was a federally protected historic landmark. Now a neon orange sign fluttered in the area. Cedar Grove Community Alliance logo, bold with an arrogant note. Unauthorized building torn down for safety, CGCA compliance. My hands trembled as I took pictures from every possible angle. Anger seething. They didn't just vandalize a bridge. They defied a federal judge. They didn't know yet, but I'd make them pay, slow and legal. A voice pierced through, "Judge, you okay?" Hank Morse, my ranch hand, an old friend, gawked at the chaos. "Who did this?" "CGCA, I said, ice cold. His eyes widened. "The ones who said they didn't care about your land?" I nodded. "Now this?" "They believed I was merely a rancher. Livestock grime, no struggle. Not a man with a black robe and justice system affiliations. I'd hold that trump close for now." Days prior, I'd seen eccentrics by my fence polo shirts, clipboards, perhaps surveyors. I'd dismissed it. Now I knew that CGCA was scheming. Hank and me collected broken boards. The quiet heavy, the bridges severed, cut off half my land. No crossing the creek. That night I attacked the CGCA office, a slick box too sophisticated for our rural corner. Glass doors, stone front, broken fountain. The receptionist hardly looked up. "Help you, I want whoever." "Destroying my bridge," I said. "Name Judge Elliott Reed." No spark in her eyes, she tapped her screen. "You're not CGCA, sir. I know my land's not yours." That bridge wasn't either, confusion flickered, but a tall, balding guy, Preston Lyle, VP, strode out. "Problem?" he asked, arms crossed. I kept cool. "Why'd you destroy a historic structure on protected private land?" He chuckled. "That old thing a hazard. Homeowners complained. Looked unsafe. File with the county state feds." I pressed. He shrugged. "Didn't need to. Thought we were aiding." "You weren't," I said, "and you did a huge blunder." He grinned. "If it's a license, we'll get it sorted. Judge or not, my ranch is not yours. Never was, never will." The receptionist opened her eyes wide. Preston remained arrogant. Perhaps it's time it joined us. There it was, control not safety. They wanted my land for fees, influence, and expansion. Game on that evening, I phoned Norade at the Interior Department. The bridge was federally listed for 25 years, records, inspections, and county peace of 1998 about its heritage. CGCA knocked down a landmark on my property without permission. A federal offense, wheels turned, but I remained silent. Next day, I pulled over alongside the river crime scene. Federal land signs and caution tape. Hank laughed. "Something serious, deadly," I said. "We rigged trail cams and motion sensors, not for vandals, for evidence." CGCA wasn't finished. 2 nights hence at midnight, my phone beeped. A cam triggered, 3 men in black stalked across the creek. Flashlights, faint kicking signs, snapping pics. Planting flags to stake my land as public. I called Hank. "Trespassers, move." We rode out in my ATV, lights off, quiet through the trees. Cold air nipped, leaves crunched. We apprehended. 1 lost a clipboard and ran off. 2 played lost. I flipped on the headlights, freezing them. My pictures clicked. Then I told them, "You're trespassing on federally protected land." Faces paled. Excuses stumbled. They ran. Hank chuckled. "Wrong ranch." Morning, I put it all together. Cam clips, timestamps. CGCA's bridge memo, sealing it for my federal contact. But a boom rocked the ranch. Smoke billowed. My shed was on fire. Hank screamed. They hit it. Flames engulfed tools. Wire and feed. A gas can pieces littered the ground. Not an accident. Arson, we hosed it. Too late. They'd lit a fuse they couldn't extinguish. Sleepless, I pored over footage. One trespasser from days past sneaked to the shed in the evening. Then a flash boom, I sent it to my lawyer. Clara Holt and Ben Walsh, a U.S. Marshal friend. This was no HOA dispute. Arson on protected property, cried crime. Sheriff's deputies were there by morning. Deputy Nate Young blinked at my badge. Federal judge indeed, and that sheds on historic grounds. By noon, state police and bomb experts descended, confirming intent. No word from CGCA calm before their storm days went by. Ash hung around, I wired cams everywhere. No breaks, Hank was loading supplies when a knock came. A suit, Wes Alton smiled. Mr. Reed, Judge Reed, I corrected from CGCA. Suggesting zoning expansion on your ranch, I laughed. You burned my shed, trashed my bridge. Trespassed, and now this, his smile twisted. We didn't save it. One more step, I pulled your board to federal court. He left white. That afternoon, Preston emailed a mealy-mouthed community meeting invitation to dispel misgivings. I sent it to Ben. Let them excavate, then my internet expired. No storm just off outside. Yellow-vested workers pulled my telecom box, Ridgecom, CGCA's provider. The lead told taking HOA equipment, I presented my deed. This ain't yours, mine, he stuttered. CGCA told it belongs to them. I videotaped, you're stealing private property on somebody's whim. He ran away. Another complaint was registered. Digital theft now. The next morning, Hank brought a letter, red-stamped for closure. Intent CGCA charged $30,000 induced fines. Nonsense, all phony, threatening seizure within 30 days. My ranch grandpa's sweat dad's hands in the crosshairs, I whispered, where it is from my safe? I pulled a sealed federal injunction and called Marshal Luke Morse. Got a property case always, he said. Send it, this one's big. I sent everything bridge shed trespass for closure. By dawn, it reached the federal docket, expedited 3 days later. Sarah Clean, DOJ investigator named Judge, I'm leading your case site, visit soon, I'm here. I replied, we're investigating HOA overreach across the country. Yours could kick it off. That evening, Hank and I patrolled the land tents, waiting a white sedan idle by my gate, and then took off. I recorded the plate Ridgecoms. Surveillance, not expansion. CGCA slipped again. My north pasture gate swung open at night. Cattle loose, Hank and I followed them for 2 hours, herding them from the woods. The chain was cut. Sabotage, risking lives. I warned Sarah, filed reports, and raised federal flags. The defense was completed. I'd bring the battle court arrived quickly. Packed reporters, ranchers, CGCA people. Preston swaggered in, 3 lawyers, deep smiling like he'd won. I sat suit crisp, no robe, with Clara. Judge Mara, Tate, an old friend. Knotted case, 449, read against CGCA. Clara stood. Your Honor, CGCA destroyed a protected bridge. Committed arson, trespassed, and submitted bogus liens, believing Judge Reed would not take. He can on, she leveled the playing field clips. Emails shed Ashgate. Cuts counterfeit foreclosure. Preston's attorney cried, exaggeration, blaming map. Mara laughed, error can't blast open sheds. She decided, injunction issued, CGCA banned from my property, fines or contact sticking pins trial. Preston's smile shattered. Pins penned. News flared. Judge sues HOA for fraud. By arson stories streamed in vets, widows, and parents targeted by HOAs about flags, flowers, and fences. My case lit a fuse. CGCA fought dirty. A black SUV with no plates idled late. The driver, slick, leaned out. Quiet guy, loud mess. Drop it. Hank gripped his rifle. I waved him off. I spot liars. You're scared, he peeled out. I reported it to Sarah, private muscle. Maybe developers. I held a press conference by the shed scar. Calm, this isn't my land, it's unchecked power. CGCA broke laws, thinking no one could stop them. I did. CGCA bled. The treasurer quit. Then 2 board members. Preston clung on, tied to peak pulse. Really eyeing my land for smart estates. Subpoenas hit him. RICO whispers grew. I called Troy Baxter, a restorer from a courthouse job. Rebuild the bridge. Exact work began. Ranchers, carpenters, and kids joined. Tools humming. Food arrived. Hands shook mine. Burnham judge mid-build. We found a tin box under the old beam, 1946 blueprints, Grandpa's note. To my sons, grandsons, may this bridge bind us. Storms be damned, I teared up, not for loss for roots one night. Hank burst in. There at it by the bridge, near-done bulldozers, loomed Preston smirking. No permit hazard, I snatched his folder. Forged maps, fake signatures? Felony, I said, he shrugged. County's mine, I faced him. I'm not folding, I'm serving, SUVs, screeched. Luke flashed his badge. Preston Lyle, trespass interference. Cuffed, Preston screamed as they dragged him away. The bridge remained. 7 days later, Sarah phoned Peak Pools, financed CG, CA offshore land grabs. Accounts frozen, drones hummed around my ranch. Trackers fell. I constructed net guns, caught 9, and fed them to the government Peak Pulse shells. Sunday, we completed the bridge. Cheering crowds watched as I drove in a gold Bolt. Flag-waving a suit made millions for the ranch. I threw it in the creek. Legacies not for sale. Mara phoned. They plead guilty. Board Peak Pulse, you won. Stars shone over the bridge. Quiet mine Hank Sell. Not for all Texas peace held. Not loud, just true. CGCA learned. Don't touch a judge's bridge.